look a little different today. I wanted to support my dear friend, and I'm going to drop the link below to her t-shirt store. Now, you won't be able to get the exact t-shirt that I'm wearing because I'm her friend, but you can check out the amazing t-shirts that she has, and she also has some amazing glasses too, so make sure that you check that out. And also, she makes jewelry, so I'll include that link down below. I'm not wearing anything of hers today, but I do have a bracelet that she made for me, and she uses amazing quality materials and she takes her time. Everything is handmade, so make sure that you check that out. And she has things for guys and girls. This is going to be a hair video. And if you weren't able to make out what the shirt says, it says, "Yes, it's mine. No, you can't touch it." And I think that is so me because that's been the story of my life for most of my life. And I wanted to make this video about my hair journey. And I've had a lot of people who have commented on my hair, who have complimented me on my hair over the years. So I felt, now's the perfect time to just talk about it, to be just brutally honest and open about it. I can't say that it's a love hate relationship, as I've heard some bloggers say, but it's more so I didn't really know how to love my hair, and I didn't have the energy to love my hair, and we'll get into all of that. Just to give you guys a background, going all the way back, most of my life I have been natural. I only relaxed my hair for about 10 years of my life. And when I was younger, my mom would straighten my hair with the hot comb. And I ain't talking about the electric one. I'm talking about throwback on the stove. A gas stove at that. So it's sitting on a flame. And you have to make sure that you let it cool before you put it to your head. And yes, I still get creeped out sometimes when I think about how badly I would burn. And oh, just I can feel it now. But sometimes you do get a little nostalgic around Easter time, because that was during the time, you were getting ready for your Good Friday program at church or your Easter morning sunrise service. So it does bring back memories. Dax was like my hair grease of choice. I would use the green one, and I think sometimes I would use the blue one. I think they had a blue one. And I would use the clear one whenever I would get my hair straightened. And that's all I can remember is just staining a lot of my school shirts because we started wearing uniforms when I was in fifth grade. And a lot of those shirts had like blue and green stains on the collar because like my hair would be patted down with so much grease. And my mom also used to love to put gel in my hair because like she wanted it to like slick down and wave up. And because of that, I always felt like I had a much looser texture. But then I realized like my mom was just doing a good job of slicking it down, you know? And that was mainly me when I was in middle school. When I went to junior high, not middle school, in elementary school. When I went to junior high, that's when she wanted to experiment and actually put a relaxer in it. And we started out, I don't know if you guys remember, I think it's TCB, press and comb in a jar. It didn't do much of anything for my hair. It kind of still looked like this. But after that, she put the hot comb in it. Bad decision. Bad decision. And I had a lot of breakage. That was the first time that I noticed a significant amount of breakage in the back of my hair. And even still to this day, like the back of my hair does not cooperate. But we'll get more into that later. And after that did not work. We went back to just keeping it natural and just straightening it with the high comb. And it wasn't until ninth grade when I went to high school that my mom decided like, okay, let's go all the way this time. But the first one, it was in olive oil relaxing, and the one that you have to mix in the solution. Oh my god, horrible, horrible. And like my mom was always the type who would get nervous and upset, like if I told her like it burned, and she was like, "But I barely put it in." But it's like that was a sign then. Relaxers did not belong in my hair. They don't belong in anyone's hair. Now I had horrible, horrible chemical burns, but the light bulb still will not go off that we shouldn't try that again. So I've had even worse chemical burns than that time. And I left this story out. So in seventh grade, when we did the press and comb in a jar, that did not work. So my mom did go back to using the hot comb. However, she tried one more time. to get it straightened with a relaxer. And I forgot the name of this one, but I remember it being in like a little container, like where you can just twist off the top. It was already mixed in. I was holding onto her waist while she was putting that thing in my hair. And it's like, I still sometimes have nightmares. Like, I still can smell the perm because, when you get your first one, like, it has to go from the roots to the ends to make sure that you get everything. I still can smell it. I still remember the excruciating pain. But of course, like everyone says, like, look how pretty you are. And they make you feel as if it was worth all that pain. But it never was. And if I can find all those pictures, I will be sure to insert them so that you guys can see. But going back to high school, that's when I decided to just keep it relaxed. And we found out that, okay, I can't use the ones where you have to mix the solution in. So we opted for just buying the motions that were already mixed, and I had to do my own. My mom thought that because I had a lot of thick hair, that it meant that my hair was coarse and that it was hard to straighten. That's not what that meant. It just meant I had a lot of hair, but it wasn't necessarily that it was hard to straighten. And that's what she went with, like the supers, and that was not a good look. So we opted for mild, and mild worked. But of course, I always had to base my scalp. Always had to get the hairspray because while it was being put in, it burned. And this was like my life for the next 10 years. And I remember I was a freshman in college. And I don't know why, but I felt as if I really needed to relax my hair. And I didn't have my motions perm. So I decided to try the olive oil one again. Like, well, maybe there's just something going on that day. Let me try it again. That was not smart. That was the worst set of chemical burns I have ever had in my life. And I had to wear a wig for a week until I went back home to wash my hair out. And when I tell you, like, my hair leaked, the bonnet was soaked, the pillow was soaked, the pillowcase was soaked. Like, it was so utterly disgusting. And of course, looking back now, I probably should have went to a doctor or a dermatologist instead of just trying to treat it and heal it on my own. But it was horrible. I just let the scabs dry out and then wash that out and then like grease my scalp. But in hindsight, like, those are very serious chemical burns, very serious. And I would not advise anyone try to treat them on their own. Learn from my mistakes, right? But again, light bulb still did not go off. You need to stop doing this. So during that time, my hair was short, and I absolutely loved my hair when it was short, and I also had it colored. However, this was during the time that I got really, really lazy. And when you're in college, it's not as convenient as it would be when you're at home. And I absolutely positively hate washing my hair in the shower. I recorded a wash day routine and I talked about it. Like, it's like my hair is too heavy. And like, I haven't figured out like how to keep my equilibrium in the shower when it's fully wet. And of course, if I had like a shower hose or something like that, that might make it easier. But as for now, I still wash my hair in the sink. So just imagine how uncomfortable I would be in college, like trying to wash my hair. And because I wasn't going to the salon as much, I started doing my own hair. Big mistake. Big mistake. Now, probably if I was keeping my hair trimmed and I was taking bigger breaks in between my relaxers, I probably would have still been able to have healthy hair. But I got obsessed with keeping it straight. As soon as you see the new growth coming back in around your edges, time for a perm. And and of course, if you guys, are familiar, people in the black community, we use perm and relaxer, interchangeably. But of course, technically, it's a relaxer because it straightens. A perm curls your hair, but you know the lingo. But that's what I would say. It's like, time for a perm, and it's like to the date, 4 weeks to the date of the last time that I did it. I wouldn't even do 6 weeks. It would be 4 weeks. And whenever I would come home, my sister would be like, "You always doing your hair." That's because I'm on a schedule. And at the time, because I still wanted to keep my color popping, I still would put rinses in my hair to make sure that it was still kind of reddish. So I was doing all kind of stuff. And when you were in your late teens, your early 20s, it's like you feel like, oh, I'll be fine. Nothing's going to happen to my hair. And like I just got super duper lazy with it. And I called it like half perm in my hair. So I would get it in there enough just to get it in there. And if it wasn't straight, I wouldn't care because I would put the flat iron in it. I was like, I'm still cute. And when I look back at all those pictures, yeah, my hair was pretty, but it was not healthy. I had a good way of hiding it. It's something I like to call smoke and mirrors. And of course, like I said, if I would have really just kept it trimmed more than anything, I probably could have saved my hair. But it just kept getting longer and it thinned out the longer that it got because it continued to break. And like I mentioned before, the back of my hair would always give me trouble. Like I wish I had images of when my hair used to be like thick on the top, but then if you lifted the ponytail and looked underneath it, like all the hair was like really, really short and it was kind of drawn up. Like it wasn't even straight like the rest of the hair. And whenever I started back doing a relaxer full time, that's when it really just like the hair disappeared. It's like it's super duper thin, even now. And I heard a blogger say, she believes like it's something that, you damage a follicle or something. And it just never grows back in right. And I truly do believe that's what happened to me because that hair still does not grow in right. It is like the thinnest, finest part of my hair, like right here in the back. And it's like, what is it doing? And of course, like it'll grow, but it will also break off. And it did that when it was relaxed. So I do believe it's damaged. And because I've had like horrible chemical burns, I believe that's what happened. I'm in my 20s now, my early 20s going into my mid 20s. And I just got to a point to where it's like, okay, I'm sick of long hair because I just let my hair grow out after it was short. And I was like, I need to do something different. So I cut it. But that still didn't do it for me. And I didn't even keep the style that long because my hair grows really fast. So it just grew out. And I'm like, well, what else is there for me to do? Like I don't know what else to do with my hair. And I just started reflecting back on when I was younger and I would have like these super duper thick ponytails. My hair was still natural and I would just get it straightened. I was like, I miss my thick ponytails because my ponytail was super duper thin at this point. Like my hair was thickest at my roots and in the ponytail it just thinned out. Because again, like I was just doing anything and everything just to make my hair look presentable. And of course to me the best that it looked was when it was in curls. Like it was always a texture style that I felt most comfortable in, which is crazy because like my hair is naturally textured. So it's like, why not just leave it there? But it took me a long time to come to the conclusion that you should just grow it out. And I remember talking to my friend at the time, and we both were like, when we get 30, we're going to go natural and all this stuff. But it was like, why not now? And around, I think, 2012, 2013, that's when I started to like tease the idea of going natural. And that's when I started to see like a few videos pop up on YouTube about people who were going natural. And I was like, I don't really want it to be like I'm following a fad. So I was like, I'll stick with what I'm doing. But I noticed subconsciously I started spacing out my relaxers. I didn't do my hair as often. And it went from 2 months to 3 months. And I can't remember the longest period of time, but it was up there because the hair was kind of sitting up here a little bit. By the time I finally decided to do it, but it didn't straighten out that well because it had been so long. And I was like, well, this is going to lead to more damage because of course like when you don't fully straighten it and then like you have new growth that comes in and then like you try to straighten over it, it's like it's just too many textures in your head. And when I got to 2014, the absolute last time that I put a relaxer in my hair,